So when you're in that plateau that you talked about, I
Mhm.
mean, if it seems as though you could go one of two ways. You could either, as you were talking about, reach out for help maybe and continue on to progress, but that could be the point of burnout right there if you're not careful.
100%.
What causes burnout and how can people prevent that, do you think?
Uh, the biggest thing, and I know this from experience. So, like I said, one of the things that burned me out in car racing was a lot of it was overextending myself. Like overstimulus of things, right? So I was teaching driving on the weekends. If I wasn't teaching driving on the weekends and I was traveling all over the country with car in tow to go to big, to go to big events and hopefully compete and do well. Um, if I wasn't doing that, then it was like every single weekend that I didn't have anything else going on, I took upon a lot of volunteerism with like my Kansas City region when I lived in Kansas City region SCCA. I wanted to give everything
Yeah.
all at once, right? So like
Mhm.
I wanted to volunteer to help run for the board. I wanted to design stages or courses. I wanted to share so much of myself with everybody else
Mhm.
that unfortunately it also strung me thin on in other aspects too. It became I was over volunteering for so much that it went from a passion to it became a chore. And when it
Yeah.
becomes a chore, you need
Yeah.
to recognize that
Mhm.
and know when to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. And for some people, it could be just like get off the throttle a touch, right?
Mhm.
Like figuratively speaking.
Figuratively.
For others, it could mean completely like it's time to take a complete break. Like
Yeah.
when we're talking about firearms trading, maybe put the gun down for a few weeks, and I'm not saying like walk away from being a defender or being prepared, but it
Yeah.
means like if you're dry firing an hour every single night, 7 days a week, and you feel like you're just spinning your wheels, you probably, first of all, don't have the right goals set for yourself, or your goals are unrealistic, right? And it's like everybody would love to be a national champion, but there can only be one, right? But at the same time, there are things that I can do to set to set smaller goals for myself along the way to becoming a national champion that become then just as just as rational, but just as hungry for me to achieve than just someday I'm going to be a national champion. Okay, great.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you? Well, I'm just going
Mhm.
to do whatever it takes to be a national champion. So they read books or they find out like whoever the previous, the reigning national champion is to do, and they're like, I'm just going to do everything they do. You're not going to do it by blind emulation. It's not going to work that way.
Mhm.
It's going to happen if you've got micro goals that you set along the way, right? Like, first of all, in order to be a national champion, I need to achieve this. And then once I achieve that, now I need to put this as my next kind of step or next rung of the ladder, so to speak, to
Mhm.
continue climbing and keeping
Mhm.
yourself interested and motivated. But
Mhm.
if you kind of lack the motivation, or maybe if you're overwhelming yourself in motivation, that's when it's time to like I said, take a break. And for some people, it's take a break for a day, take a break for a week, take a break for a month. There have been a couple of times I forced myself in my own shooting, um, maybe not as an instructor, right? Because that's my full-time job now, but as like for my own training or my own progression, I forced myself to take a break throughout the entire month of December and generally throughout the month of January. Give myself like a full 60-day break. And
So when you
sometimes
come back, you're excited to come
I'm
back, is that
hungry,
why?
right? I'm
Yeah.
starving for it. Like, I
Yeah.
can't wait to put the gun back on. I can't wait to start training again. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean in the meantime that I'm not doing something else that might be firearm related, but
Mhm.
maybe it's not like passionately about competition, right?
Mhm.
Maybe
Or
it's
tea.
I get out the long guns and I go
Yeah.
shoot. I go plink 800-yard steel. Maybe it's I grab the 22 and I just go shoot with my daughter or go shoot with my
Mm.
girlfriend, or
Yeah.
it could be anything. Maybe I'm just going to put my appendix rig on today and I'm going to focus like the next 30 days or 40 days just on maybe dry firing my defensive stuff, because
Mhm.
Lord knows I probably don't spend as much time with that as I need to, right?
Mhm.
But it's things that still keep me active and keep me interested, but are
Yeah.
things that are far away from what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis from, say, February 1st through December 1st. And
Yeah.
it's needed.